Hello friends and welcome back to another edition of Drafting with Numot. Let's do another Zendikar Worldwake. Our last week's draft did not go well after we opened a Valakut, but let's see what we can do this time. Draft is a go and we open two rares. Electropotence, which I do think is a sweet rare, though very, very slow in this format. It's an enchantment that whenever a creature enters the battlefield in your control, you may pay 2 and a red. If you do, that creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So in a prolonged game, this just takes over. Rite of Replication is also insanely fun, but not exactly a great first pick. You got to put a token on the battlefield that's a copy of target creature, not just a creature you control, so you can copy an opponent's creature. But then if you kick it, you get 5 of those tokens instead. And in conjunction with, like, any ally, just gets really, really insane. Obviously, making 5 creatures is insane as well. Cards I'm looking at in this pack. Oran Reef Survivalist as just a good ally 2-drop. Umara Raptor as a good ally 3-drop. Step Links. And to some lesser extent, I guess maybe Geyser Glider. I think here I'm going to lead with the Oran Reef Survivalist. With the addition of Worldwake, I really, really like the green allies, but I can definitely see taking the Umara Raptor in this situation as well. And wow, nice pickup. We got past another Oran Reef Survivalist, so looks like we're already in a nice ally shell here. Other good cards in this particular pack, we're looking at Heartstabber Mosquito, Sanctifiers, Course Skyfisher is probably just the best card in the pack, but not the pick since I already took a Survivalist. And other fine cards, Mold Shambler, another Puma as an ally, Whiplash Trap, but really happy to double up on the Survivalist here and see where we go. Third pick only yields basically a Harrow. Arrow Volley Trap is decent, and I think generally I would take it here, but considering I've already have 2 good green cards, I think taking the Harrow here is probably best. There's still a lot of landfall in this format, and Harrow is a nice instant speed way to kind of get your opponents, or just ramp or find fixing. Both of those are fine. Pick 4 here. I'm looking at a Namana Sellsword and Highland Berserker. I think Seascape Aerialist is not a good ally. It's way too expensive. 5 mana for a 2/3, poor stats, and it only gives your allies flying. It doesn't give all creatures you control flying. So I think it's generally considered one of the weaker allies. I think I would rather go green-black than red-green, and so here I'm going to go ahead and take the Namana Sellsword. There are a bunch of nice allies in the third pack that are black and green. You get the Pajuka Brigand and you get the Timbermaw or Grey Pelt Hunter. Also, I think black is just generally one of the better colors in this format, so taking the Sellsword there is quite nice. And it looks like we got a little bit rewarded here with a 5th pick Zendikar Marauder, one of the better black commons for sure. Dragobard is an ally, and it is green. It's not one I'm too keen on playing. As a 1/4, it does block a lot of creatures in this format, but you're really looking to pick up better allies. That being said, because I have only allies right now, this does get a lot better, but I think because Zendikar Marauder is a 2-drop, and it's, you can generally wield a Bard, we're going to go ahead and take the Marauder here. Notable card, Oran Reef Recluse, just great, blocks everything, and later in the game you can kill a creature, flying creature. Alright, well, looks like we're going to double up on Zendikar Marauders here. That's, again, I think this is probably like the best black common creature in Zendikar. Disfigure is probably the best black common, so pretty happy to see another Marauder here, I guess kind of late. Onto Cleric in the pack, super annoying, super good in the ally deck. And another Oran Reef Recluse, but happy to take the Marauder here and see where we go. See where we go. Wow, 7th pick Oran Reef Survivalist. This is actually insane. Frequently, you only get like 1 Survivalist. The fact that I now have 3 is just very, very absurd and very, very good. And yeah, that's a good sign that green's open, because Baloth Woodcrasher is basically the biggest thing in this format. Terra Stomper is a rare and is an 8/8 trample for 6, but Baloth Woodcrasher is basically an 8/8 trample for 6 as well. So happy to take that. And here, now we wield the Hagra Diabolist, which is awesome. I have 4 allies already in the first pack, and all of them are good, so getting the Diabolist here is kind of insane. Yep, Stonework Puma. This is turning out to be one of the nuttiest green-black ally decks I've ever seen in this kind of format. I don't have any removal right now. Vampire's Bite's fine. I don't have any removal right now, but our deck is looking gross. Bog Tatters is actually a reasonable sideboard card. Grim Discovery is okay. I wouldn't main deck it generally. And so, yeah, getting 11 pretty good playables in the first pack here. How many allies did I get? 6 of them being allies? is gross. Very, very gross. I guess rewarded for the first pick, Survivalist, and then rewarded for also being in the right colors. Our second pack yields a pretty nice rare, Ghouldra's Spectre. The only problem with this is that it's 4 mana. This can do a ton of work, don't get me wrong, but the 4 mana really puts a kind of a damper on its effectiveness. Kazandu Blademaster, very good ally. For us here, we have Grazing Gladeheart, Namana Sellsword, Baloth Vines, and that Ghouldra's Spectre. I think because of the number of allies I already have, I might have to just take the Sellsword here. Because again, it just gets better with every other ally that we have. And we already do have a lot. I'm going to go ahead and take this. I think it's definitely worse than Spectre, Gladeheart, and probably even Vines, but, and that's in general, but because of the number of allies we have, this is almost like an A+. Pretty easy trusty machete here. Fine pack, Heartstabber Mosquito, Soulstir Expedition to bring back some creatures, even Colony Heart Expedition and Orn Reef Recluse is fine, but trusty machete just gets the job done. Core Hookmaster also in the pack, one of the better white cards, but happy to take that machete. And now I'm either going to take the Harrow or, honestly, the Bard is not bad. Because of the number of allies we've been able to pick up, Bard is probably not an awful pick. That being said, I'm certain this wheels, and so taking the Harrow here is probably going to be the correct choice, in my opinion. And let's just do that. This pack is poor. Savage Silhouette is fine if you have enough 2-drops, which you do. And sometimes you just go 2-drop into Savage Silhouette and win. But not my favorite pick ever. Inferno Trap in the pack as well as a Windrider here. But we'll take the Silhouette and see what happens. Alright, there's another Ondu Cleric. I could definitely be taking these Clerics. With the double Harrow, it's not out of the question that splashing white is correct. The problem is we have 2 fine playables in the pack for us. Nissa's Chosen and Baloth Cage Trap. I'm going to take the Nissa's Chosen. I'm going to kind of ignore the Ondu Clerics here. Again, we have so many allies already, and we're probably going to find some more in the next pack that I'd rather just stake 2-color, even though we do have some fixing. This pack is kind of poopy, but we're going to take the Soulstir Expedition here. Lets you rebuy your allies and just reset the triggers. It's one of the better expeditions, I would say. Colony Heart, obviously not great later in the game. Basswood Gorge is also fine, but I think we'll take the Soulstir here. Alright, there's that Recluse we were looking for. We passed quite a few of them, so getting at least one is going to be a nice boon against a lot of the flyers. Happy to take that. Okay, there's an Ondu Cleric again. This is pick 8, so you know what? This must be a pack run, because we've seen Carnage Altar, Grey Pelt Refuge, and like Narrow Escape Ondu Cleric in the same packs. We'll take the Ondu Cleric here. No guarantee that I'm going to splash it, but definitely could consider it. Pretty easy Territorial Baloth here is the only playable in the pack for us. Wrong piece of fixing. Although I think I end up taking it over either of any of the other cards here. Man, I can speak. In case we end up splashing red. Alright, another Soulstir for the sideboard. Unplayable cards. But yeah, first 2 packs went crazy well for us. Generally, you don't have this many playables going into the 3rd pack of a Zendikar, Worldwake, or even triple Zendikar draft. So, sitting where we are right now, it's got to feel pretty good. The only problem is we're missing removal, but our creature quality is so high. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 allies. Pretty darn nice. So we'll be looking to pick up those Bajuka Brigands. We're looking to pick up those Grey Pelt Hunters, and especially that you have things like Tomb Hex that you can get in the last pack as just solid removal. So because of the number of playables we already have, we only really need to find 3 more in the last pack. So we can be kind of picky and try to find some nice removal. All right. Let's open a good one. Let's open a good one. Lava Claw Reaches. All right. I think that might be worth a few tickets, but looking at cards here available to us, Gnarlid Pack, just a good bear in the format because it scales so well. You can always just cast it on turn 2 as a 2/2, which is honestly great in this format. Then you can also cast it as a 4-mana 3/3, 6-mana 4/4, etc., etc. Pilgrim's Eye, just good fixing, helping enable your landfall triggers again. Jaguar Swarm is fine as well. Think I'm going to go with the 2-drop here. I do think Pilgrim's Eye is a fine pick, but we're going to go with the Gnarlid Pack and just take more 2s. All right, there's that Bajuka Brigand we were looking for. Decent pack for green and black. Groundswell, Grappler Spider, Corrupted Zendikar, Caustic Crawler, and even a kind of Canopy Cover is fine, but we got to take the allies. Vapor Snare is probably the best card in the pack. It's just Mind Control that helps you re-hit your landfall triggers, but pretty happy to take the Brigand. Okay. Nothing really here for us. People play Dead Reckoning a lot. I don't think this card's that great. 2 black and 1. You may put a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. If you do, Dead Reckoning deals damage equal that card's power to target creature, especially in an ally deck, right? Your allies get counters, so on their own, like Survivalist is a 1/1, Soul Sword's a 2/2, right? So it's not very good. I guess we'll just take the Explorer. We might not be running it. Ooh. Well, here's an ally. I don't exactly remember what this one does. Black and 2, 0/2. Put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control if its converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of allies you control. That's sweet. I don't really have enough removal to back that up, but it does seem like a cool pick, and if it gets going, well, it should be easy GG. Alright, I might have to just take the Feral Contest here over the Jaguar Swarm because I don't have removal. I'm not a fan of this card. It is not fight, it's just put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control and another creature has to block it, but I think that's going to have to be the case here. Another Gnarlid Pack seems great. And yeah, deck's very good, just a lot of solid creatures, but no removal. Looking to cut maybe 2 cards here. Not actually sure what I'm supposed to cut. Could cut Baloth, I suppose. Our allies are generally going to be bigger than it already, and it's pretty expensive. I'm going to keep the Woodcrasher for sure. Corrupted Zendikar. Honestly, we're probably not even playing that. I think all of our other 2-drops are probably slightly better. Maybe the Zendikar Marauders are worse. I'll take the Corrupted Zendikar, and we can always sideboard out the Marauders if we're playing against a black deck, and then bring in the Corrupted Zendikar. One more cut here. I guess I could cut this Oran Reef Recluse. In a pinch, I sideboard it in versus a flyer deck, but I think we'd rather go like this for starters. How many allies does this now give us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's quite a few allies. We actually didn't pick up that many after the initial pack, though. Oh, wow. Arbor Elf is great, as is Kitesail. And Dread Statuary and Vastwood Zendikar are both very, very playable as well. This is interesting. Huh. I like the Kitesail as a way to force through damage in the air, but Arbor Elf is just so solid. Feels like you always want that card in your green decks. I think Kitesail probably wins me more games, though. This is very close. I'll take the Kitesail here, but I'm not quite sure if that was correct. In fact, I'm going to cut the Feral Contest now as well, and just kind of go wide and over the top of the opponents, as opposed to having much interaction. We're just going to play big creatures, or rather creatures that get very, very large, and hope to beat them down with brute force, so I think that's a fine plan. Currently going to go 10 green, 8 black, I think. We definitely want more green early. You know what? With double Harrow, it's probably just super incorrect to cut the Baloth, now that I think about it. It's possible that I just cut one of these random other creatures. Like, maybe I just... No, actually, no. Just cutting Puma's terrible. I mean, I suppose I could try 17 land. I feel more comfortable running 18 in this format. This card is great in the mono red deck. 5 mana, 4/3, but then multi-kicker red, and every time you kick it, it deals twice the number of kicked mountains in damage to the opponent. Like a grappling spider here. Another sideboard option for flyers. This would be our worst 2-drop, so we're probably not running it. Oh, we're looking spicy right now. We are looking spicy. I think maybe Marauder is the cut. I don't know, that feels awkward as well. It's never a bad thing when you have too many playables that you need to end up cutting cards, right? So, I guess I shouldn't complain about our current spot. Definitely feels nice. Alright, I'll take one of those Dead Reckonings. Again, probably not playing it. These Gnarled packs, you have to remember, also could be 4-drops. They can also be 6-drops, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, maybe it's just a Marauder. That just feels so weird, but we're so all in on allies. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to cut a Zendikar Marauder, which is one of the most awkward things I've ever done in a Zendikar draft. All right, last few picks. At this point, it's very, very unlikely we have anything that's going to find its way into the deck. Bajukabog for sideboard, I guess. I can't think of a scenario where I want to sideboard in Bajukabog too frequently. And yeah, 10 forests, 8 swamps, and we're going to call it a day on this deck. Looks real solid, besides the lack of removal, but our creatures should just be able to trump. Trump. Alright, deck building occurs, and add basics. 10-8. And we'll see you guys back for round 1. Thanks for tuning in. Here we are for round 1 with our black-green ally deck. Play first, and... oh, boo. All we need is 1 land in this hand would be real sweet. 4 allies in it. I want to keep this hand, but I'll play it safe and mulligan. And this looks like a very similar hand, just with 2 of the 2-drops gone. Alright, we'll keep this, and we're going to bottom that Baloth. On the bright side, we have a turn 2 ally, and that's the real key thing with this deck. As long as I have a turn 2 ally, it can get very, very large very, very quickly. Alright. Vampire Lacerator from the opponent's side. Ooh, and that's a good draw. I'm going to lead with the Survivalist here. We'd rather have that get bigger than the Brigand, since the Brigand can't block. And actually, if I draw land next turn, I can Harrow into Bojuka Brigand, which will let me get to 4 mana for the Numot Sellsword on the following turn. Seems pretty good. Alright, opponent on black-white. Ah, they stole my Undo Clerics. Alright. Ugh. Well, can't exactly say I wanted to draw a 6-drop there, but Again, fortunately for us, we still have a play. Do I want to attack with the Survivalist? That's the real question. Leave it back as a 3-power blocker, I think is probably a better game plan. Because we have so many allies, I think the longer game probably favors us. Slightly awkward, obviously. Another Lacerator. Wow, they must have a Journey to Nowhere. Oh, Feast of Blood. Okay, well. Generally, this card is not that good, but I suppose when you get it to work, it does work. Opponent, I don't think, realizes my Bazooka Brigand can't block here, which is nice. So, we'll Harrow. Get a Forest in a Swamp. Equip the Machete. And attack for 4. I'm not going to bank on the opponent forgetting, or, yeah, continuously forgetting that my Brigand can't block. The nice thing is they can't put me down to 10 here, so the Vampire Lacerator, well, rather on board, they can't put me to 10, so these Lacerators are still going to trigger following turn. In theory, anyways. What did they have? Tomb Hex. Okay, that's the removal spell I was talking about in the last pack. Black and 2, target creature gets -2/-2, or landfall, it gets -4/-4 instead. Okay, well, there's a Sellsword for us. It is a 3/3, which does currently hold back all of the opponent's creatures. And we are 1 land away from Big Daddy Baloth Woodcrasher. So I guess I just have to hold on here and hope that the opponent doesn't have another removal spell or another pump spell. If they do, we're probably dead. Alright. Gonna force the block. It's very possible they're just attacking in so they don't lose life. Yeah, that looks like to be the case. Ooh, ally was a good draw there. Make our Sellsword a 4/4, and I'm actually going to equip and just pass. They're representing like an arrow volley trap here. Now, it's very possible they don't have anything, but again, I think the longer game favors my deck. Alright, Core Cartographer is fine. And now that probably means I'm going to attack next turn. Certainly if I draw a creature or a land. 1 card in the opponent's hand now. Okay. This is probably the time that I need to start getting aggressive. Haha, another Sellsword. Alright. Let's make our other Sellsword a 5/5. And definitely attack in now. They could have a Pitfall Trap, but that's not the biggest issue anymore. We kind of want to get a Pitfall Trap out of their hand anyways if they have one, because we have a Baloth Woodcrasher in hand. And even if they did kill it, we'd have 2 nice blockers for all of their 2-power creatures. Turns out 3/3s are better than 2/2s. 4 mana from the opponent. They have 7 mana, so if they do have a... Oh, of course, Sanctifiers is nice. If they do have a Mosquito, they'd be able to cast it. They're killing the Puma here over the Trusty Machete, which makes sense. And they could drop me down to 5 if they attacked with everything, which is possible, but it looks like they're not going to. Okay, So if I want to attack with a Sellsword, they could triple block and I'd get a nice little 2-for-1, and then we get to play a Gnarlid Pack out as a 3/3. I could equip the Trusty Machete to the Sellsword, most certainly, and then they'd have to 3-for-1 themselves, but I think 2-for-1ing and then developing out another 3/3 is perfectly fine. Okay, so we're going to kill their Sanctifier, and we're going to kill their Cartographer. Do not mind leaving them a Undo Cleric. Them gaining a few points of life is not that relevant. Ah, they had a Brave the Elements. Okay. So a 1-for-1 there, but they did kill my biggest creature. We'll multi-kick, make another 3/3. And the opponent's hellbent right now, so they need to top deck something. Right, 1, 2, 3, mindless null. Not a very good card. Filler, for sure. There's our land number 6 for Big Daddy Woodcrasher. And we're not going to attack here. If I'd attacked pre-combat, they might not have blocked. But if they had just double blocked, I'm trading a 3-3 for a 2-2, and that's obviously not very good. Vampire's Bite was a pretty nice draw. Here, we don't want to attack with Woodcrasher, but we'll suit up the Gnarlid pack and go ahead and attack in with it. It is a 2-for-1 if they want to block. And with Vampire's Bite, I can potentially gain a nice little chunk of life. They're not blocking here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just do it. Go ahead and kick it, gain my 8 life, get in for 3 extra damage. This means any 2 trample damage from the Woodcrasher is going to get them. Plus, putting me over 10 life means the Lacerator is once again a huge deal for the opponent. Alright, they just drew it. What is it? Ah, another Tomb Hex. Okay, good draw. Problem for the opponent being they have to put me down to 10 or less, and they have to leave back 2 blockers, which is not possible, so they're actually just dead on board still. Opponent has some nice removal, though, but once my creatures start getting going, they just don't have anything to do. All I have to do is block the core Cartographer here. I take 4, go to 12, then the Vampire Lacerator kills them the following upkeep of theirs. Easy enough. Alright, and the opponent knows that, and they scoop. Sweet. So, since the opponent's playing quite a few black creatures, we're going to take out this Surakar Marauder. And I can either bring in like the Zendikar, I can bring in the Oran Reef Recluse. Could even sideboard the Bog Tatters, although I don't think I need the Swamp Walker, given how powerful our deck is. I think we're just going to bring in the, well, actually, let's bring in the Recluse. It blocks all their 2-power junk, just like the Zendikar does, but I'd rather them Tomb Hex a Recluse than one of my lands. So I'll ship it like that, and let's go to a game 2. Game 2, round 1, with our black-green allies, although it does look like mono-green right now. Opponents on the play, they mulligan once. Certainly going to keep this hand. We have 3 2-drops and 2 nice 3s. Not surprisingly, opponent had one of their Lacerators, but all I have to do is play a turn 2 Nissa's Chosen, and that'll stop any offense unless they have one of their Tomb Hex. This is Chosen, one of the better green commons, for sure. Just because of the 3 toughness. It basically just blocks everything. Early in the format anyways. And Lacerator's dealt 2 to both me and the opponent. See if they have a Hex for me. Game plan next turn is to Harrow into 2 lands and then Survivalist. No attacks, that's a really solid sign. I guess, yeah, let's go to combat. I can afford to be the aggressor. Harrow, get 2 lands, play our Oran Reef Survivalist, and pass the turn. Next turn we can play Gnarlid Pack as a 3-3, if we want to. Although at this point, we might just want to wait until we draw 1 more land and can make it a 6-6. Cartographer from the opponent, not very scary. They're probably going to attack in with the Lacerator. It's fine. Obviously, we are happy to take it. Really hoping we had drawn an ally there. I think we just attack with the Chosen, and I'm actually going to go ahead and Vampire's Bite this turn. I know this seems a little bit loose, and it is, but I want to for sure gain the life while the opponent's tapped out, and this makes it very, very hard for them to do anything relevant. They have to keep applying some amount of pressure, or else that Lacerator of their own is going to really hurt them. Next turn, Gnarled Pack as a 4/4 just completely trumps the board. And they're playing out a 1/1 Quag Vampire. And now they're not even attacking. So I could honestly just sit back now and let their own Lacerator kill them. Alright, Gnarled Pack out as a 4/4. Pass the turn. Double Swamp from the opponent, but again, just passing the turn. It's real nice for us. This Harrow I think we hold on to. The thinning is kind of negligible. And we'd rather hold it for either Territorial Baloth or Woodcrasher Behemoth. I actually don't want to attack in with the Gnarled Pack here. They'll happily double block or use a removal spell, and again, the Lacerator's slowly just ticking him. Five mana Caustic Crawler, sure. 4/3 for 5, landfall. Creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. I don't know where all my allies went, though. Ooh, Savage Scylla was actually really sick. Okay, I'm actually going to put that on the Nissa's Chosen. I don't want to put it on the Oran Reef Survivalist right now because if they have the Tomb Hex, the -4/-4 deals with it. But putting it on the Gnarled Pack or Nissa's Chosen is quite nice. Again, not attacking in here. The Lacerator's doing the work, and this is forcing the opponent to do something. There does come a time where I should attack, just because they'll have to chump once and then chump again the following turns. Alright, well, Feast of Blood. And now is probably that time. Now that they used a Feast of Blood and went back up to 10 life, I should probably start attacking in. Actually, that's not even true. I attack with Nissa's Chosen. Oh, well, that was a good draw. I was gonna attack with Nissa's Chosen. They have good creatures on the backswing, but now we can just attack with the Chosen and make it hard for the opponent. Now, it's very possible I'm running into a Pitfall Trap here, because I only have one Regeneration Shield open at the time. But it looks like the opponent is just going to chump with their Lacerator to stop themselves from losing life. Shepherd of the Lost. Well, you know what deals with the Shepherd of the Lost quite nicely? An Oran Reef Recluse. I think I'm actually going to Harrow now. Currently, I only have 7 mana, so with Harrow, I'm going to go up to 8, which means I can kick the Recluse, kill the Shepherd, and then still hold up Regeneration mana on the Nissa's Chosen. And actually, I can attack in with all of my creatures. The very worst, we're trading away for their 4/3. Brave the Elements in response. Okay. Well, that means I do not actually get to attack because Oran Reef Recluse no longer has a target. Interesting, interesting. We might actually have a game yet. The second I find another ally, though, it's going to be hard for the opponent, because right now the Shepherd holds back my 3/3s because of its first strike. But once I make them 4/4s, they get to attack in. Core Sanctifier is killing my Savage Silhouette. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. We'll put a Regeneration Shield on our Nissa's Chosen prior to that resolving. Okay, so, you know, the opponent has stabilized the board for sure. They get to keep hitting me for 4 damage. And I need to find another ally before I can really start doing much. But even an ally is not great here. Baloth's not bad. Because as a 4/4, or rather as 4/4s, one just trades away with Caustic Crawler, the other just chumps, or rather trades with a 2/3, because a 2/3 and a 2/2 profitably block there. This is definitely a problem. Luckily for us, Baloth means that any land draws are not completely terrible anymore. Though we would still prefer not to draw lands, because I'm on a 3-turn clock. And the opponent has Walking Atlas Caustic Crawler, which means they can instant speed, give it -1/-1. Which is pretty gross. Alright, they're just chumping with their 2/2, which is great for me. But again, I need to find some pressure here. Hagra Diabolist would be great. Behemoth would be okay, although I think we'd still prefer to draw an ally at this time. Iona's Judgment, exiling my Territorial Baloth. Okay, that's not good for us. And we go down to 7. Oh, are they not attacking with their Quag Vampire anymore? Interesting. I wonder what spurred that from the opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4. 13 lands, so 5 lands left in my deck. That's unfortunate. I suppose there's a downside of running 18 land, although, honestly, 17 to 18 is so negligible. I don't know why the opponent wouldn't attack with a Quag Vampire to put me on a 2-turn clock. Okay, what did they draw? 4 mana, Jagwasp Swarm. Okay. Come on, dealer. Bajuka Brigand. Probably not going to cut it. A little bit too late to the party there, friend. My attacks are still pretty poor, but I guess I have to force something. Because with that Walking Atlas, they get to, like I mentioned, landfall, give one of my allies -1/-1. Looks like they're just going to kill the Bajuka Brigand, though, which is fine. Okay. This leaves me dead on board, but I think they have to respect a pump spell here. And I'm pretty dead anyways. At this point, I don't have much I can draw. Okay. Well, if they're just chumping there, that's good for us. And taking 4, we could still pull this out. Super unlikely, though. Okay, yeah. I'm not just dead. I can block one of the 3-power flyers if they don't have Tomb Hex. Oh wait, I was just dead if the opponent had attacked with everything, wasn't I? Yeah, I would have died. Oh, they have bold defense? Sure. Alright. I guess they got me. The Shepherd of the Lost really just did me in there. A lot of good draws that we had. We just didn't find any of them. I mean, that was a game where Bog Tatters would have done some real work. I guess maybe I should just be bringing it in. Oh, Kite Sail would have been awesome for us, too. Once our creatures got big enough. Still don't think we want Dead Reckoning. I guess we can cut the Savage Silhouette. The opponent has lots of removal for it. Plus, it's not good on a 2-2. Alright, let's ship it like this and go to Game 3. Game 3, Round 1 of this Zendikar Worldwake draft. We'll play first with our ally deck. Well, 9 allies in the deck, and we don't have any in our opening hand, but we do have a fine curve otherwise. Turn 2 Nissa's Chosen should be able to do some good work. And hopefully we can get up to the Baloth Woodcrasher. See if the opponent has the turn 1 again. Doesn't seem like they do, though, so it's good for us. We get to start bashing in. Alright, again, no plays from the opponent. That's kind of awkward that to play the Chosen, the Soul Stare is not going to get activated until the very next turn. Here, I'm not going to play out anything. I don't think it's worth it to play out the Oran Reef Recluse or the Gnarlid Pack. Gnarlid Pack as a 2-2 is just going to be worse than playing it next turn as a 3-3, which against this opponent we know is very, very good. Oof, that's got to hurt though. The opponent's first play is a Mindless Null. Get a landfall trigger. Make a 3-3. Bash in for 2 again. Hopefully keep the pressure up. Bog Tatters or Territorial Baloth would be great draws. What's the opponent got here? 4 mana. Oh, 3 mana. Tomb Hex my Gnarlid Pack, sure. Okay. If we can draw a creature here, that'd be real nice. Castable anyways. Hey, Bog Tatters it is. That's going to be a problem for the opponent. Also, with one more land drop, I can cast Baloth Woodcrasher, and I'll have Soulstare Expedition online. Pretty good. Alright, they hit their double white, which means Core Sanctifier can deal with Soulstare Expedition this turn. If they have it, they might want to do it just so I don't start getting value, but it's not that exciting of a play. They might just Iona's Judgment my Bog Tatters here. Okay, that's fine. Well, that's 2 removal spells gone from the opponent, so if I get to draw a land next turn and Wood Crash, we should be in a happy spot. And now our Soulstare Expedition is activatable. Now lands aren't terrible draws, right? Because Woodcrasher becomes a 8-8 trample. Or, and if we draw Harrow, 2 landfall triggers to make it a 12-12. I really want the opponent just to play a flyer here and pass. It's like the dream. They can't cast their Feast of Blood. They have no vampires. We do know they have another Tomb Hex, so if they went land Tomb Hex on the Woodcrasher, that would kind of suck, but of course we'll just bring it back with Soulstare. Like, if they don't have another Iona's Judgment, then our Woodcrasher is still just going to come back eventually. Assuming they don't first sanctify our Soulstare, or at least attempt to. Looks like the opponent might have the Tomb Hex, but doesn't have the landfall. I think they're attacking in here, and they have the Tomb Hex, and they're going to use it. Oh, they just have Vampire's Bite. Okay, this is fine. Again, I don't mind doing that because it gets a trick out of the opponent's hand, it eats up their turn, and I have Soulstare to bring them back. So let us do that. We just got back a 4-4 and a 4-4 that turns into an 8-8. Pretty good value there for us. Also, it was a trade with the creature. Sitting pretty happy. though the life totals have re-evened themselves somewhat. Oh, boo! Hideous End. Wow. Opponent has a ton of nice removal. Creature quality a little bit lacking, but ton of nice removal. Alright. Gonna play out the Baloth here. It's the same thing as playing out the Gnarlid pack, which would have been a 4/4, but this means any land draw makes the Baloth bigger on the following turn. Okay, swamp it is. Attacking for 8. And we'll just play out the Gnarlid pack as the 4/4 next turn, or rather this turn. This is either a chump, or they're going to use Brave the Elements to keep their blocker alive. Okay. A-okay with that. Absolutely fan-diddlyastic. Like I said, our deck doesn't have many creatures, but... Or rather, it doesn't have very much removal, but the creature quality is very high. Whereas our opponent's playing cards like Mindless Null and Walking Atlas. It's like we have the inverse of each other's deck. The opponent has great removal, but creature quality seems subpar. And then we have great creatures, but removal quality is non-existent. Alright, opponent, show me what you got. 2 cards in hand. They better be pretty good. Chump and potential chump. So they must have some kind of trick here if they're making this block. Their bold defense, maybe? Sure. And I'm going to go ahead and run out the Survivalist. It makes any 2 creatures lethal next turn if I draw an ally. The only problem card I have to think about is like Day of Judgment, but even that's not the worst case. Alright, and I actually hold on to the land here. There's no reason to play it out. It just means the opponent has to block the Territory of Baloth, but they already have to block one of the 4 power creatures anyways. So I'd rather save the landfall for a future turn. And now it's show me Day of Judgment or GG. And just like that, we won round 1, and we will be coming back for round 2. Thanks for tuning in. Round 2 of this Zendikar Worldwake draft. We are on the draw, and we have a pretty decent hand for our deck. Survivalist and Sellsword as our allies. And then the scalable Gnarlid pack. And even a Vampire's Bite for good measure. Put it on blue-white over there. Blue-white Dirtle do nothing currently. Perfectly fine with that. Hopefully we can draw one of our other allies next turn. Start getting huge. Yeah, the opponent also on the ally plan, it seems. Drawing mono swamps is definitely not ideal. I don't think the opponent blocks here, but if they do, so be it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and run out the Gnarlid pack as a 2/2. I know that seems poor, but we have our turn 4 game plan already, and we have 2 draw steps then to find another thing to cast, so I think I want to just get the Gnarlid pack on the battlefield immediately. Start bashing in as a 2/2 if possible. Just the join the ranks? It is indeed. Alright, well, opponent's Umara Raptor is now a 4/4 flyer. We are simply flooding out here. That's not good. We can race this though since we have the Vampire's Bite in hand. In theory anyways. Really need to find another spell next turn. We've drawn 3 lands and 1 spell. Alright, well, not the spell we were looking for, and the opponent's holding open a arrow volley, which we definitely passed during the draft, so I think here I just want to attack... Oh, Permafrost, okay. I was going to say, I think I just want to attack in with my one of my 3/3s to really disincentivize that. We are on a 3-turn clock on the board. Of course, we have that life gain potential in hand. See what the opponent can muster up. 3, 4. Ooh, Zendikar Banisher, or bouncing a tapped creature if they want to. Although I'm not entirely sure they want to do that. They might. I mean, if they bounce the Survivalist, yes, it becomes a 2/2, but then my Soul Sword becomes a 4/4. Or they bounce my Soul Sword and I don't. Wait, what? That was just a worse target, wasn't it? Because now I have a 4/4 and a 3/3 as opposed to a 2/2 and a 4/4. This did eat up more of my mana. Maybe that was what the opponent was going for. Okay, go down to 4 here. Ooh, another join the ranks. Rather go to 2 here. Opponent with 1 card left in hand. And these draws have unfortunately not been kind to us. We've drawn 2 spells and, well, how many lands? 5 lands. It's definitely never going to get the job done. Try to Vampire's Bite. It could always have like a either trade wins or something, though, to blow this out. Man, I am good at this game. Called that shot. Yeah, opponent had a very good hand, and we just bricked. Drew too many lands. Alright, this is a matchup where the other Zendikar Marauder definitely seems nice. And bring in the Recluse. Gonna take out the Savage Silhouette since that we saw 2 bounce spells from the opponent. And probably take out, I don't know, maybe I can take out the Agadeem Occultist. We've never actually drawn this card, and it seems sweet, but I think I'm gonna take it out. Run like that for game 2. Alright, game 2, round 2, we're on the play, and kind of a sad keep here. We have a turn 2 Zendikar Marauder, which is nice, but other than that, our hand needs to develop out still. Okay, Survivalist is a good draw. I'm going to lead with the Marauder here. It's possible I draw another ally next turn, but this Marauder's almost certainly going to get in for 2 points of damage since I have the landfall to trigger it. Okay. See if the opponent wants to use a Pitfall Trap here or some other... Wow, they're just going to into the Royal. Interesting. That is very aggressive. That kind of tempo play means that they're probably going to try to kill me the same way they did the previous game. Yep, there's that Raptor again. Luckily, we drew the land to get super aggro ourselves. Wouldn't be surprised if the opponent has the Halimar Excavator, the blue and 1 ally that mills for each ally you control. Oh, it looks like they're on the double Raptor plan. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to get wrecked by a Join the Ranks if they have that next turn. Alright. No good blocks for the opponent. And I'm going to actually just go ahead and cast out all my creatures. Go wide again. The opponent is missing land drops, so if we kind of can just flood the board, it's going to make any attack from them very, very hard. Let me read what Permafrost Trap does. I think they can cast it for a single blue if a green creature enters the battlefield. Yeah, if an opponent had a green creature enter the battlefield and his or her control this turn, you may pay a blue. So, something to note, to be wary of. All right, 4th land from the opponent. Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9. So they put me on a 2-turn clock if they have joined the ranks here. It looks like they're just attacking in with a 2/2, which is a decent sign for me, I suppose. Calcite Snapper. 1/4 Shroud, landfall, you can swap its power and toughness. Kite Sail. Okay, that wasn't a bad draw. So I think the game plan here is to Kite Sail up our Marauder. Pretty close to winning. Can the opponent kill me? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No. So I think we attack in with everything here. And we might just use the Vampire's Bite to eat their Umaro Raptor. I think that's a correct play. Or rather, trade away. It's a 2-for-1, yes, but I think I like doing that there. The other option is just not attacking with the Gnarled Pack. The opponent blocks one of my 3/3s. They take 6. They go to 5 still. But I think getting the Raptor off the battlefield now is pretty ideal. Two, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Ooh, Seagate Loremaster. Nice. Love that ally. All right, there's a landfall trigger for us, which means a Surkar Marauder cannot be blocked. And then if I move over the Kite Sail, they have to trade with their Umaro Raptor. I think instead, though, I want to just play out the Bailout Woodcrasher here. Like, I can just attack with everything, and they have to block both the Survivalist and the Sellsword already. Which means at the very least, we're either eating the Seagate Loremaster or we're trading away with the Raptor. Calcite Snapper on the other. Okay, and that's good for us. Marauder just lethal with the land next turn. Lands are great because of the double landfall trigger. Spells are great because it's a spell. Alright, they drew 1 card. Got rid of one of their blockers, though. And scoop them up. All right. They need to have found a permafrost trap there, I assume. Make sure I brought in everything. I guess maybe I'm supposed to bring in the grappling spider or grappler spider. Maybe the spider is just better than like Nissa's Chosen in this particular matchup. Generally, you just never cut this card, but maybe even Feral Contest versus them seems fine. Honestly. Cut the Soul Stare. I think I like trying it like this. And let's go to a game 3. Game 3, round 2. We are on the draw. Ugh. Opponent's down to 6 as well, though, but I think we'll have to join him with this hand. 1 swamp and we keep for sure, but let's see if we can find a better 6er. Ooh. This hand is also not very good. An unfortunate keep, though. Definitely can't go to 5 with this. We have good mana, a 2-drop. We're just going to have to hope our Scry does some work for us, and that the top of our deck can also do a little bit of work for us, as is generally the case. Alrighty, opponent kept their 6. We will keep ours as well. And we will also keep a trusty machete. It's just that good, kids. It's just that good. It's very possible this Surkar Marauder just goes the distance. Turn 1, True Blade. Rather, turn 1, Trusty Machete. Turn 2, Marauder. Turn 3, Equip and Landfall. Turn 4, Landfall. That's already 8 damage. It would already be 8 damage. Opponent playing a little bit slowly, but we got there. Play the Forest out first. And there's the old Trusty. Let's see if the opponent can find a 2-drop. Alright, there's the land, and... anything, or... nope. Feral Contest. Why did you sideboard that in, Kenji? You could have just had another random creature. That would have been preferable. Ondu Cleric. That's not going to cut it. That has the potential to gain them a ton of life, though. We know they have 2 Amaro Raptors and 2 Join the Ranks. So, it's a little bit scary. Not going to hold open a Vampire Bite usage. I don't think that's necessary. And it's a automatic landfall trigger. I don't get to choose. So I cannot Feral Contest something. Hopefully they don't have Pitfall Trap. We might just go the distance here with this Surikar Marauder. Opponent's on the attack pass plan. There's a good draw for us. I could hold that land there, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, 2-turn clock. Oof, the opponent's going to discard. Ah, they just scoop. Alright. Well, opponent got unlucky there, did not find any lands, and we had the turn 2 Surikar Marauder to go with our Trusty Machete. Opponent had Double Raptor, Permafrost, Sea Stalker, some nice cards for sure, but just didn't get there on the land front. Alright, and just like that, we will be going to the finals. Stay tuned. Here we are for the finals of this Zendikar Worldwake draft. After last week's showing, we have made it to the finals. Let's play first. Oh, come on, deck. 5 lands, Soulstar Expedition, Harrow. Well, back to the drawing board and down to 6. I think this is a keep. We have a Scry, and if I hit a land, we have a Survivalist. If it's a Swamp, I get to go 2 allies, and then we have like the Occultist to go along with it. I'm going to keep. Oh, no, I meant to hit Mulligan! Or keep, not Mulligan. Oh, no. Shoot. Well, this is definitely a keep. Man, I meant to keep that other hand too. That hand had a huge payoff to it. Because turn 2, Survivalist potentially, right? Turn 3, it attacks as a 3-3. And then turn 4, I potentially have a 4-4 and a 3-3 attacking. Oh, yeah. We'll never know. We'll never know anymore. Hopefully we can hold off the red-green, or rather red-black aggressive opponent here. This is a problem. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna do some trading here. And it looks like these Surikar Marauders are once again gonna be sideboarded out. I'm gonna block the shortcutter. Lacerator will keep dealing them damage. Well, that's a problem. Luckily, we did draw land. I'm going to play out the Puma. It costs more, so... even though we could potentially get ally triggers off of it later, let's use my mana more efficiently. Goblin Warpaint. Alright, the Rough Rider is now a 5-4. So what's the game plan here? I think the only way I win this is if I Savage Silhouette my Stonework Puma, so I just have to take the 7. And hope that the opponent doesn't also have a follow-up play. Ugh, which they do. Alright, let's Silhouette it up. Dead if they have a removal spell. Pretty dead if they just attack with everything. We are not in good shape. Yeah, they did attack with everything. Okay, we're going to make the greedy play. We're going to block and keep our Stonerook Puma alive. And draw a 6-drop. All right. Well, that was a pretty uneventful game 1. We mulliganed to 5. Our opening hand was a 5-lander. I mulliganed to a 1-lander, but I meant to keep it, but accidentally hit mulligan, and so then we kept a 1-lander on 5, and obviously that just did not pay off. Here it looks like we're taking out the Marauder, and what else do I want to take out here? I think everything else is good, and then we bring in like the Corrupted Zendikar, or even just the Recluse as a 1/3. I think I like the Recluse as a 1/3 as opposed to Zendikar, although it's probably close. I'm not going to bring in the Bog Tatters versus this red-black deck because they're just too aggressive for it, I think. In fact, what might be possible is that I'm supposed to bring in the Zendikar as well and just cut like the Wood Crasher. Our creatures are already going to be bigger than theirs, and I don't want a 6-mana 4/4. Let's try it like this. Alright, game 2 of the finals. We are down a game. We're going to play first, and that's a keep. Turn 2 Survivalist, turn 3 Zendikar, bash you for 5. Hopefully draw some allies in the process. We have a Harrow to thin out our deck and potentially get some landfall triggers for Territorial Baloth. Diabolist is not bad. I wonder if I'm supposed to block and trade away from the Survivalist. I think I wait, though. If it becomes a 3/3, it's generally just going to stop most of the opponent's stuff. Opponent's got a good curve. Good curve indeed. The Hexmage can actually put a huge damper in my plans. They can block, deal first strike damage, and then sacrifice. But this Occultist could do a ton of work if they don't have a way to deal with it. I'm excited to see what happens if it does get off. Alright. Just attacking with 3/3. I think we just take it. Oh yeah, another ally. I'm going to Harrow here. And then play the ally. That way I have 5 mana next turn for the Diabolist. We appear to be in good shape. The nice thing is, like, I can steal their Lacerator even if Occultist is the only ally I have on the battlefield, since the Lacerator costs 1. Crusher's Zendikar now. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to trade here. I'll take 2 trample damage, but that's fine. At least it gets their Crusher off the battlefield. Hell, I could even Savage Silhouette our Survivalist now, but I think we just want to lead with the Diabolist. Keep getting bigger. The Lacerator's still ticking down on the opponent. Magma Rift could be bad if they have that, but a Rough Rider's not going to be too much of an issue. And now I can just play the Savage Silhouette on our Diabolist. Whew! Another Orn Reef, though, is a sweet draw. All the triggers. Opponent takes 4. I get a 6/6, and then Survivalist turns into a 2/2. I think we're just going to Corrupted Zendikar up the Forest instead of Savage Silhouette, although it's probably pretty close. And just say go. I'll start attacking in next turn after I play the Savage Silhouette out, but again, the Lacerator's doing work for us here. Alright, let's see if they attack. Oh, a bold bash out. Okay. So let's go like this. We'll put the 6/6 on the 3/3. our 3-3 on their 2-1. Our 2-2 on their 3-2. And then I'll just take the hit from the Lacerator. What I could also do is offer the trade. Offer the trade here and block here. And that means after their first strike damage, they would have to allow their Survivalist. Rather, they'd remove the counters from the Survivalist here. Oh, looks like the opponent's just going to scoop it up anyways. Okay, so the power of the allies got there for game 2. And let's go to the final game 3. I think sideboarding, we're just going to keep the same, ship it, and see what they got. Game 3 of the finals, we are on the draw. We have a decent hand. Turn 2 Survivalist. I do need to find one more land, but our opponent's on a mulligan, so that might help us out a little bit, especially if they don't have anything to do super early. All right, there's our third land, and now that just enables everything else, because the Harrows will find us enough lands to cast everything else that we need. Bloodseeker is going to be super annoying, though. I could even just cast out Corrupted Zendikar on turn 2 instead. Or rather, turn 3 instead and attack for 5, like I had mentioned in the previous game. Oh yeah, especially if they're not doing anything. I think I like that play. I could Harrow there. And then play the Zendikar, but it would be tapped. And remember, Bloodseeker doesn't trigger off of Zendikars because the land is what turns into the creature, and it's technically already on the battlefield. Now we just get to start making huge allies here. Sweet. Both of these are going to become 3/3s. Next turn, the Stonework Puma is going to make them 4/4s. We should be able to out-aggro the aggro deck. The red-black aggro deck. Hey, they got that Lava Claw Reaches that I passed. Alright, nice. So now I actually get to Harrow here first. Just to thin out the deck a little bit. Into casting the Puma. Into attacking with everything. And now they don't have a profitable block unless they want to 2-for-1 themselves on one of my allies. I mean, obviously trading a land for the Rough Rider is a great trade for me. And yeah, looks to be in pretty good shape here. 2 4/4s are just going to own the battlefield. Ooh, a Malakir Blood Witch, though, is a nice one. Unfortunate for the opponent that have an Ornn Reef Recluse in hand. One of the best rares in the format for sure. Unfortunately for the opponent, had one of the best answers for that card. And now they have to chump. They'll fall down to 3 here. And just like that, we have 3-0'd a Zendikar Worldwake draft. Happy to do that with such a sweet deck. Like we had 9 allies. We picked up like 5 or 6 in the very first pack alone. This was one of the better ally decks I've drafted. It didn't have much removal, but the creatures just continuously growing. Especially when they were such cheap creatures made it really, really tick. Anyways, that's going to be it for this edition of Drafting with Numot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Please check out all of our other content here on Numot Gaming or on YouTube as well. And as always, you can find me streaming on Twitch over at twitch.tv/NumotTheNummy. Take care, and we'll see you later.